All right, all right, all right. What is good, guys? Make sure everything is connected. Oh God. Oh God, no. Oh God. Doesn't want to connect my mic. Let me see. Oh, yep. Okay, bet. So default is that. So okay, bet. So we're good. Hopefully.
Instinct, but it's bad when they have
Uh,
power over.
bet. Okay, bet. Yeah, I had to make sure everything was working. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. We're gonna finish that Nick video. See what the fuck is going on with Venezuela, and see how Jesse Lee fucked on Destiny. Bars. Oh my God. Perfect. But yeah, let's get into it.
The bitch shaking it, showing it. You this, you that. We laughing at them together. Oh! So stop treating these mother like they mean something.
Let's go to TikTok. All right, and to get right into this motherfucking shit, start back where we left off at on the Nick versus Gavin shit.
Everyone's going to rise up and kill us. Another Hitler will rise up, another Philip II, another Nicholas II. Someone's going to rise up and take us out. So that's why they have this group mentality. It's like a fortress. It's like a siege mentality. And I think that that's not a bad instinct, but it's bad when they have power over America.
Well, I would argue that I can't deny that.
This is Buick now. Buick.
And when I went on my, as you called it, my all expenses paid trip to Israel,
Yes.
I kept screaming that even that, like, part of why they hate Trump is his blonde hair.
Yeah.
They have this trouble with the Aryan, and I think it's PTSD from their grandparents talking about the Holocaust. So they're like, anytime a white, whether it's you or me, and they don't care that I'm on their side, by the way. Anytime there's a white who is charming and has everyone's ear, we have to denigrate him because he's going to get us.
Right.
And that is something that both sides, both Orthodox, Republican Jews, and secular, even atheist Jews, you're right. They all have that characteristic. But that doesn't negate the Civil War.
Right.
Because the Orthodox Jews are saying to the secular Jews, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're ruining everything and you're going to get us killed. And they are getting them killed.
Yeah.
As I keep saying, wear a yarmulke in northern Paris right now. Like, all the Jews that live in Northern Europe are getting terrorized on a daily basis. That's the first people. Manchester. They're attacking. So I think that Orthodox Jews are saying to secular Jews, you're my worst enemy. Like, with friends like you, who needs enemies? They could have the same motives, but the secular atheist Jews are retarded. And more proof that they're white, they self-sabotage. I think they're aware they're ruining everything. And they're ethno-masochists. Like, they all this porn shit, and you don't need to get married, and the world's overpopulated. The secular Jews are suffering from that. They're not having kids. Orthodox Jews' birth rate is great. So my sort of thing with race, my goal with my job and everything is, first of all, to make more American families of any race, but and fathers to stay there, more Westerners, but also to kill this ethno-masochism. And I think one of the reasons that secular Jews, I don't know, are so wanton with their destruction is they have that white thing, which is self-destruction. And I think it's also a real reason for this anti-Semitism, because it's a fun target. Like, if my kids fart on my wife, they're in big trouble. If they fart on me, it's funny. I'll be like, oh shit, that reeked, because I'm the top, you know? And it seems that way with criticizing whites, like you can fart on them. And that is why these college students, they don't give a fuck about the Christians in the Congo. They don't give a fuck about brown on brown violence, but they see a white person, an Israeli, and a brown person, a Palestinian, even though these Palestinians would happily kill them.
Right.
And have done, like that Italian guy who went there with the fucking Arabic writing on his bicep and they couldn't wait to kill him. Queers for Palestine. They just choose the brown side because of ethnomasochism. And I've heard people blame the Jews on that. But it goes way before World War II, this I fucked up, I'm sorry shit. It's genetic.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of truth to that because, these Jews, what they've effectively embraced is liberal universalism, which is this colorblind, we're all going to be communist, we're all individuals, whatever. And I think you're right that I'm right wing. And the right wing Jews believe that the solution to the Jewish problem, because the Jewish problem is these people are persecuted, they're unassimilable, they won't integrate. The right-wing Jews, the Zionists, believe the solution is we need our own country. We need our own territory with a military. It's got to have a Jewish identity because as long as we don't have a home, we'll be at the mercy of everyone else. The left-wing Jews say that's why we need to make the world universalist, because if the world is tolerant and multicultural, then we'll be tolerated everywhere.
But you're describing the liberal globalist ethos, of which billions of whites have signed up for, and pre-Jew signed up for.
Yeah.
Like I always bring up slavery. We were, way before the Jews took over the media, we were going to Northern Africa and saying to the Berber pirates, stop doing this. We were going to Africa. We abolished slavery. We went to Africa. We said, stop doing this. We said to Dahomies, literally Dahomies, stop doing this. I think Britain paid off its debt, ending slavery like 7 years ago. That wasn't the Jews. That was this like, oh, woe is me. I have to, this altruism. That is a good thing in a Siberian winter in Norway in like 2000 BC. But now it's used against us and it becomes lemmings going over the cliff. And that's what I want to prevent. And I think the anti-Semitism Israeli thing, it becomes a scapegoat, it becomes a crutch, and we don't identify our problem, which is we are okay with our own destruction.
Well, here's my point: is I'm saying that debate runs through the Jewish community too, is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm screaming.
Yeah, and I
don't
agree
steal
with you.
my shit.
But here's the thing: I'm not stealing it totally. The right-wing Jews, it's particularism. The right-wing Jews, they're not in favor of nationalism for all nations. You do your thing, we'll do our thing. By its very nature, if you're a nationalist, it's exclusionary. We want our nation to be strong. We want our people to be strong. So you sort of have this idea that like, well, we're all for the West. We're all for nationalism. We're all for these things.
No, they're not. Especially not that, not that Likud
But they
party.
want these things for themselves.
Who's they? This is
Jews.
Every Jew I talk to, because I talk to a lot of Jews about this debate, and they're like, ask him what a Jew is. Who's they?
It's matrilineal by Jewish descent from their mother. Not
But
necessarily
we're both
the
agreeing
religion.
that the Orthodox and the Republicans hate. The seculars.
But
and
why
the
do they hate
seculars,
them?
they see the Orthodox and the Hasids as a cult. And they go, you're bad for our name. You're fucking weird with your payas and your stupid hat.
But they hate
And they
the
married a
left-wing-
black chick.
Yeah. Well, they hate the left-wing Jews because they think the left-wing Jews are undermining Israel. When they say they hate the ADL, they don't say Jews shouldn't control speech in America. They say it's backfiring. What you're doing is causing more anti-Semitism. You're allying with people like Ilhan Omar who are progressive and hate Israel. So it comes from a place of Jewish self-interest.
That's a weird thing to know. Like in journalism, we were taught to never say, Nick Fuentes thinks he's getting it up on someone. You have to say, it appears as though.
That's literally why the Jewish people stopped fucking with the Haganah and they started working together and forming the IDF is because Britain kept restraining them from immigrating. They got tired of them niggas. And when them niggas get tired of you, they figure out a way to get you up out of there.
Nick Fuentes thinks that he's getting it. Like you're imbuing this motive on people.
That's what they say. Ben Shapiro, Joel Pollack, the Mort Klein, that's what they all say about these left-wing Jewish groups.
So Ben Shapiro says, my only problem with the ADL is they're making Jews look bad.
Basically, yes. Yeah, trust me, that is what they say. Joel Pollack, who's the editor of Breitbart, this is the quote I know off the top of my head. He said that The problem with the ADL is they're not doing a good enough job of isolating the real anti-Semites. And they're painting everybody as anti-Semitic, and so they're watering down anti-Semitism. So it's a Jewish interest that's served there.
Well, the ADL's job is to find hate, ostensibly, right? And they're saying you're doing a bad job. Now you're making that into your only problem with them is that they don't do enough for Jews.
They think anti-Semitism should be censored. They just think the ADL is doing a bad job of it.
Yeah, you think Joel Pollack thinks that I shouldn't be able to say from the river to the sea?
He thinks that, maybe not you because you're pro-Israel, but he thinks people like me, he loves you. He thinks people like me should be isolated, ostracized, kicked out.
So for you to say from the river to the sea on Twitter, Joel Pollack would want you to be banned.
Not specifically that, but me being someone that says Jews shouldn't have power in America. He would say, you got to go. You got to be censored, isolated. You got to go. And by the way, Elon did ban that from the river to the sea. And I didn't see any right-wing Jews stand up and say, don't ban that. We need free speech.
Oh, I bet Ron Coleman would be totally against that.
Ron Coleman, he don't like me.
Yeah, well, they're once burnt, twice shy when it comes to the far right. And they don't want to debate you. Mm-hmm. They see you as a lost cause. And I totally disagree. I think, because I've been on both sides. Mm-hmm. You know, my political awakening is very recent. It's post 9/11. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of free Palestine for a while, and then I got to see the irredeemable values of Islam and what they've done to Europe and what they've done to everywhere but America, really. And I go, that's my priority. Jews are cool. Besides the bad ones.
Yeah.
You know, and to say Jews shouldn't have power, like, what defines a Jew? You have some atheist Jew married to a black woman who's doing a great, like say Alex Jones. Mm-hmm. We found out that his mother was Jewish and he's married to this black chick who doesn't give a fuck about Jews. Should he not have InfoWars?
If he identifies as Jewish and is loyal to Jewish identity, then I don't think he should have power in America. I think America's Christian.
Should he have InfoWars?
I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting question. Should they be able to own media companies? I mean, not at scale. I don't think they should be able to be multi-billionaires. I don't think Larry Ellison should have as much power as he has. He's clearly loyal to Israel. And he's an atheist.
I mean, outside of
and he's an atheist.
The concept, it's just an implausible. It's sort of like when Richard Spencer told me that all blacks have to leave America and we have to make America all white. I'm like, that's the implausibility of that makes it retarded.
I don't think it's implausible. I think that we need to make it clear. Well, you make that face, but look, you yourself admitted. I mean, look at these attitudes towards Jews, how quickly they're changing. And I think if there was...
So we just ship them back to Africa?
Not ship them back, but there needs to be a recognition that the double standard they have is not going to fly here. And by that, I mean, all non-Jews are expected that we're all Americans. We're all going to treat each other equal. We're not going to be preferential.
Hold up, y'all.
Towards each other. But Jews, they get to look out for themselves. And they get to do this bullshit where Larry Ellison is going to buy TikTok on behalf of Netanyahu to suppress criticism of Israel. Like, that's blatant influence peddling.
But they don't have their own interests. As I said, like they push, they're pro-Palestine.
You know, any business that's selling expertise is being asked to use the latest technology to show that they're more.
They hate Israel.
But Bill Ackman, Sheldon Adelson, Miriam Adelson, Larry Ellison, all these guys are pro-Israel. They're not, you know, you're talking about some shithead leftists that are 20 years old. We're talking about billionaires.
I'm talking about walk through CNN and talk to every liberal media reporter there, every anchorman, every journalist.
They're pro-Israel. What happened at CBS when Ta-Nehisi Coates went on CBS spewing pro-Palestine sentiment? The host, who was a Jew, viciously attacked him. The host's boss apologized for the outburst. That person's boss stood by the host because that person was Jewish. Who owns CBS? It's Sherry Redstone, who's a Jew. She backed the host. And now CBS is bought by David Ellison, who's Jewish, son of Larry Ellison, and they paid Bari Weiss $100 million to be the editor-in-chief there. She's an Israeli spy.
An Israeli spy.
Yes. She studied under Yoram Hazony at the Shalem Center in Israel, and then they set her up to work for Bret Stephens at Wall Street Journal. He got to start at Jerusalem Post. And they trained her up in writing op-eds so she could be a dutiful propagandist for Israel.
This nigga be cooking.
I talk
nigga
to
know
New
his
Yorkers,
math.
I talk
Shit.
to Jews in media, and I'm alarmed at how much disdain they have for Israel, for Orthodox Jews. Yeah, I guess CBS, yes, is predominantly pro-Israel, but it's not the vibe I get from these liberal Jews. They're as Ezra Levant says, they're Bolsheviks, and they don't care about anything but winning and power. And if that means fucking over Jews, by all means, let's do it. Exactly like Nancy Pelosi, who is happy to have California burned to the ground as long as she has her gated community and, you know, her own money and her own mansions. That's what elite whites do. They are ethnomasochists, they're lemmings. And so my goal, it's never happening, but it's for you to see these powerful Jews as elite whites.
But they're not white. They're not white. They don't see themselves as white, and they're not white.
They're wrong. Everyone's white.
Everyone in the world?
Here's a way to see whiteness just for fun. Who do you not want moving in next door? So even a lot of blacks are white. Like Denzel Washington moves next door. Nobody, maybe you might have a problem with it, but most white people are like, cool. I got a good one next door. I wonder if we could become friends. So this whole like, complaining about racism in America, no one has a problem with Mexicans. No one has a problem with Jews, really. No one has a problem with elite blacks, like upper middle class and up blacks. So the only people that can really complain about racism are ghetto blacks. And they mostly deserve prejudice. It's more like post-judice at this point because we've seen the behavior. So the fact that we talk about racism constantly in this country when we're talking about half of the 14% and everyone else is basically treated as white.
Well, what I would say about the blacks in the neighborhood is, because I was thinking about that exact like example the other day, because I wouldn't feel bad if like one black family was in the neighborhood and they're well-meaning and they're nice and they're civil. But it's really a question of the composition, because it's sort of an interesting question. How many black families on your block and neighborhood are you comfortable with? Because if you're the only white family on the block, and let's say they're all civil and polite, but you're the only white family, you're probably going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel like an alien, a minority.
Well, I definitely get that living in a Jewish neighborhood. I'm definitely not wanted as the minority. But sometimes hypotheticals break apart. Like the idea that you're on a street and there's 50 Denzel Washingtons around you is just not going to happen.
It's happening in Houston, Texas, with all these Indians.
Denzel Washington.
Not Denzel's, but like,
right.
But like Indians that are civil and polite and high earning. There's a lot of subdivisions that are all Indian with like 2 white families. And people go, I don't know if I have a problem with one Indian family in my neighborhood, but the whole neighborhood goes Indian.
That's kind of what happened to Astoria, Queens. It just became completely Indian. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm reminded of that Charlie Kirk thing where they said, what if America had all the same values, Christian and everything, but they were all Pajeets? And it's like, you can't do that. Like your hypothetical is too obtuse for me to think about it.
But that's where it's going.
Yeah. Yeah, but the other problem with that hypothetical is it's going there, but it's not going there in the sense that they're not Christian. They're not fans of the West. They're not assimilating. They're not learning English. They're not even liking America. When the World Cup is on, the Albanians have the Albanian flag on their car. They have no interest in assimilating. The whole idea of Henry Ford. Did you ever hear about the melting pot thing? He made one.
No, I didn't.
You'd go up a ladder, down a ladder. You're in a pot that's as big as this room. And then you pledge allegiance to the flag. You sing the national anthem. Then you go up another ladder. And you keep the flag you were given, and it's obviously symbolic. You don't literally melt. And that notion, like I went to Ellis Island recently, and they kept it as is. And the last thing you see when you walk out is this massive painting banner that just says "Be loyal." They don't do that anymore.
Right.
In fact, I would argue often when immigrants come here and they want to assimilate, they become anti-American because that seems to be the norm.
Right.
So they are assimilating in a bizarre sense.
If you're involved in a car accident in Georgia, you'll need to report the accident to your insurance company. A car accident
out of here,
lawyer
then.
can
That's
guide
all
you
I
and
heard.
protect you from things that can
fuck?
affect your claim.
Right. I would say that, you know, when I talk about that example, like let's say they had values that we were okay with, it's just meant to kind of suss out the fact that on some level race does matter. Because even all things being equal, I still wouldn't feel comfortable being a minority in America as a white person.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I mean, we have different backgrounds. I immigrated to Canada in the 70s, and I was with a big wave of Pajeets. And
Right, yeah.
they were, because Canada is considered Britain, and Britain, all the colonies would come in. Jamaicans, they played cricket, they drank Guinness, they loved soccer. So they assimilated quite easily, as did I. And it was a different type of immigration because they were pro-Western. And so back then, I don't know, you didn't really see color. I know that sounds naive, but as the numbers went up, it didn't seem so bad. And now there's no, it just seems like apples and oranges now. Like they don't want to assimilate these Pajeets. They've totally outnumbered the place. And so you can't even discuss the concept of them being Western and Christian because that hasn't happened.
Right.
We used to open the gates, close them, and let everyone get on the same page. Open the gates, close them, great system. And then we broke the hinges off the gates.
Well, so just
And
left
so
that
now
bitch open.
immigration is just, it's fruitless to do analogies anymore because we see what's happening and it's fuck you.
Right, right.
And that's something we should focus on. Not the Jews. I'm fucking sick of talking about Jews. I remember Cernovich said that once. He goes, I'm happy to talk about the Jews and Israel like once a month. But I need a fucking break. Like hanging out with Jake Shields, I had to lie down after. Because it was this. Then we drove to the city, it was all Jews. Then we went to 9/11, the memorial, that was all Jews. Jews did that. And then it was like, I had to go get a beer at that point. I was just fucking, it gets tedious. And I think that's sort of the other thing I was saying too, is this crutch becomes like the left has, I call them Nazi glasses, where everything is about fucking white supremacy.
Right.
And the right does that with the Jays.
Yeah, I think there's some that do that, but at the same time, they are kind of all over the place. You know, like look at the Trump administration. There's obviously things they're not doing, or they're not like directly involved. Let's say, like enforcement of illegal immigration. Stephen Miller's running it, but it's not a Jewish issue. You got the corporate tax cut. You got the
But wouldn't you
tariffs.
do? Who was the Mayorkas or whatever his name was?
Mayorkas?
Mayorkas. So you would blame him for open borders and say he's a Jew, but then you would sort of close your eyes when it comes to Stephen Miller fixing the problem.
Well, my point when I say that is you wouldn't say that that's like having to do with the Jews as an organized force. Like the theme of that is not Jews. But I'm saying that the
So
theme
it's
of
Jewish when Mayorkas does it, but it's not Jewish when Miller
Well,
does
I'm not
it.
talking about Mayorkas. What I'm talking about is which issues have to do with Jews and Israel and which ones don't. Immigration enforcement doesn't really have to do with Jews and Israel. Tariffs doesn't really have to do with Jews and Israel. The corporate tax cut doesn't. What does have to do with Jews and Israel is deporting anti-Semites that we got a list from Canary Mission. We were told who to deport. That happened in the State Department. What does have to do with them is bombing Iran because they instigated that war. They launched
Yeah,
a preemptive
if
strike.
we start a full-on war with Iran, I'm on your side. That I want that. But most Jews don't want that. Like you keep saying Israel's going to get us into a global war. If that happens, you were right.
I'm saying they're
Prescient
trying to
Nick.
get us into a war with Iran,
What did I say?
a global war.
Well, that is a global war.
Not really.
If China and Russia gets involved,
But Russia won't upset Israel, and China won't get involved directly. They won't intervene to save Iran, and so it would just be a regime change war. I mean, it'd be a tall order, but I don't believe that would necessarily turn into World War III. Realistically, we're already in World War III. That's neither here nor there, but they are the ones egging us on. They want us to pursue regime change in Iran. They sabotage the deal. That has to do with Jews and their interests, Israel and its interests. You also have the education policy. holding the money against the Ivy League universities hostage to put in place these pro-Israel, pro-Jewish policies. Larry Ellison taking over TikTok. He's basically doing that at the behest of Netanyahu. So it's like, not everything has to do with them, but there's a lot of things that do have to do with them. And I will talk about those things wherever they are. I'm not going to say, well, I'll only talk about it once a month. It's like, if they're flagging people for criticizing Israel and kicking them out of the country, that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, but every sane, rational Jew would agree
definitely
with
a
you
problem.
on that.
I don't think they would.
I don't think they
I
would.
think that people like Shapiro and many conservative Jews, they love to see these pro-Palestine people getting kicked out. They say they're terrorists. The Heritage Foundation came up with that policy.
All right, let's call them then. I'm going to call a Jew.
Which one?
I can't tell you. They want to be anonymous.
On a vacation rental, if it's not listed on
course they do.
Booking.com, it's
course
invisible
they
to
do.
millions of travelers on our platform who can't book.
But so your contention is that a lot of Jews are happy with people being deported for anti-Semitic beliefs. Okay, I'll ask if we can say who he is. This guy represents all Jews, by the way.
Hello?
Hey, can I say who you are?
Of course.
This is Ron Coleman on the line.
Of course.
Nick is under the impression that most Jews are cool with people being deported for having anti-Semitic beliefs.
That's funny. No, I think the vast majority of people being reported or
People
deported,
being-
or people who,
Students
people who
on
are
visas.
here on a visa.
Students on visas, like at
Oh.
Columbia.
I think most Jews are cool with that. Yeah.
Cooked again. Jesus Christ, he's been cooking
for
this whole
calling.
fucking show. God damn.
Well, yeah, I think I misunderstood the question. I thought you were saying just general American
No,
citizens.
no,
being
the
deported.
policy they're at the State Department they're running.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of okay with that too.
Okay, so.
Like you're here on a visa and you hate America. I don't even think Chinese people should go to our schools.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Like they're learning how to attack us. All these sheiks who come here from Muslim countries, they're happy to pay 150 grand a year, the foreign fee. But then Osama bin Laden went to Ivy League schools. I don't like that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, good. So yeah, that's not really free speech.
Well, here's why it is, though, because it's part of clearly a concerted campaign to suppress that kind of sentiment on campus. If the Department of Education comes in and says, we're going to bankrupt you and we're going to cancel all your visas and we're going to deport students unless you implement anti-protest rules, unless you change your curriculum on Israel, et cetera, this is like a chilling effect on speech.
We're looping around. I mean, you know how I feel about that. It sounds terrible, but under the circumstances, these schools are fucking insane. So it's drastic measures.
Why not just arrest the people that are doing the bad things instead of like destroying free speech?
Because you came here on an invitation. Like you came here with the backstage pass to meet Motley Crue, and you're wearing a shirt that says Motley Crue suck. You're not. Your backstage pass is revoked.
Yeah, but they're not saying America sucks. They're protesting Israel, and they're getting bounced for that. And you're saying, well, we need to do that because I'm saying, like, if someone beats up a Jewish student, arrest that person. If they're on a visa, deport that person. But to go in and say, we're going to literally just break apart free speech on this issue.
You're right. And this would be, you'd be much more right 20 years ago. But under the circumstances, like it's a fucking, they teach anti-Semitism. And this comes from Marxists hating the success of white people, ultimately. Like how do you blame Jews on Netflix sexualizing children? That's Barack Obama. He's a
Barack Obama's
Marxist.
doing that?
Yeah. He's in charge of Netflix.
They're all like in the same shit. It's like Marxism communism, Zionism. Like they're all in the same fucking shit.
Rating the talent pickers.
They're all in the same.
What is that? The Jews
pathway.
too?
Well, is he? I don't know. What is? I know
Yeah.
he has a contract with Netflix, but is he running the show?
Yeah,
there?
it's the same way Jay-Z runs the Super Bowl. Jay-Z decides who gets to play in the Super Bowl. He doesn't literally run the halftime show, but he chooses. And Barack Obama's people choose that, and he's a Marxist. And when I think of the corruption of education, I mean, it probably is a Jew who's running the unions there, although I think one of the women's, there's two unions, and one of them is black. But that's Marxism. And Marxism is about destroying the West.
Well, and I think that a lot of Jews become communists because they are like subversive. I think they're.
This is a fundamental disagreement you and I have. I believe that if you embrace Marxism, you become an atheist, you're no longer a Jew. You believe Jew is an ethnicity that's in your bones and you can never leave it, and they never want to leave it.
Yeah, well, it's an ethnicity, so yeah, it's genetic. It's matrilineal.
So George Soros is a Jew.
Yes, all day, yes.
Okay, that's the fundamental disagreement we have. Because his father was an atheist. He was raised on atheism. He speaks that stupid globalist language that they invented. What the fuck is it called?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Esperanto.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fluent. So I just see him as a Marxist saboteur with tons of money.
But even religious Jews, they will look at secular Jews as like they're wayward,
This is
people.
the core of our disagreement. I totally fundamentally, everything else I'm like, I see what he's saying, maybe I go, but that is like a thump. That's a wall between us. I don't think they think that. I know they don't. Here, I'll call another Jew. Jews fucking hate George Soros and feel no kinship with him whatsoever. Can you go tell them to hold on a sec? That's my son. He's very excited to meet you, him and his friends.
Got it.
Hey, I thought I was watching you live.
No, it's not live. Shalom.
Oh, no way. Hey, shalom.
These are some of the Jews who own me. So I'm here with Fuentes, and we really came down to, like, you could invite them in, Sean. They just can't be on camera. We came down to our fundamental disagreement, and I've had this fight with him before. He believes that, like, even rabbis, Republican Jews, Orthodox Jews, they still feel an affiliation and a bond with someone like George Soros because he's an ethnic Jew and they're of the same cloth.
You can't trust nothing they say.
Stability, precision.
That's the shit they say. So fuck it. Should have just left it at that.
He's not 100% wrong about that, but
This nigga Nick has been cooking this whole time, and why does Nick keep making them? That's what I'm saying. These niggas, I be thinking these niggas really on our side because they be asking the good questions, having a good conversation, and Nick just be cooking on top of, like, he just be baking. And I be thinking, like, maybe they're doing this so that he can come on and bake so he can wake everybody up. Like, this is what I be thinking. I be thinking, like, these niggas ain't really against us. But then, I don't know.
Okay, I'm not calling you guys anymore. This is not working out for me.
No. But I'm saying he's not 100% wrong. But at the same time, like, they'd be happy to see him in jail, or worse. I mean, they're not gonna, like, save him from going to jail. They don't like him. They don't like what he does. They think he's an evil man, and they would want him to be taken down.
So you're saying it more like a rich, educated black guy who's a judge seeing some, like, black monster kill a baby. And you're like, there's a kinship there, but fuck you.
No, I think that that it's more like a father turning in his son, who he knows committed a crime or something, but not even like that. But I think that would be even closer.
Bro is dancing so hard.
I think it's
So Soros is your son, and
Bro is dancing so hard. He's already told on himself. Fuck.
Stupid. That analogy.
The prodigal son.
Yeah, the prodigal son.
I'm 200 years old, and so.
Yeah, well, if there's one thing I've learned in this debate, it's not to call Jews.
Oh my God.
I mean,
I thought you hated George Soros. That's why I called you.
we do not like. No, we hate George Soros. I hate George. I am not one of them who feels any affinity towards him. I think we should write it. I write him out right now. I'm not related to George Soros in any way. Book him or take him away, boys. Whatever needs to be done.
Book him,
I'm
Dano.
against him. 1,000%. I mean, I would side with Nick or George Soros. I mean, yeah, I am not on George
Niggas
Soros'
dancing
team, and
around
I
this
think
shit.
I would speak. I can't speak for everyone. Everybody's an individual, but I think a lot of people would feel the same way as me. But I'm saying those who would say that there is some affinity would say, yes, I'm distantly related to him.
What percentage out of all the Jews in America?
Who knows the percentages? Who's
not with the? I thought you guys love the numbers. Getting down to it. All right, thanks for calling. I'm gonna get back to this.
No problem.
Wow, these Jews are really letting me down. Let's divide this up into two parts.
Okay.
Do you think I want to do a second one without Jews?
Okay, absolutely, yeah.
Which is your favorite type of thing. So let's call it. Do you have anything else you want to add? Or?
No, I think we covered a lot.
Okay, so let's make this part one.
Okay.
The Jewish problem, and then part two will just be more jovial and stuff like that.
Sure.
Bet. Okay, no, that's not it. Okay, but now let's see what the fuck is going on. Myron Break is gonna show us what the fuck is going on with the U.S. and Venezuela, and I wanted to see what the hell is going on. Because we need to know what's going on in the world. If you niggas don't give a fuck about what's going on, you is stupid. Let's get it.
Our invasion isn't just a national security issue, it's also a resource issue and an influence issue. And this is why we are posturing the way that we are posturing. Because Venezuela doesn't have the ability to actually defend itself against our military might. The designation of these criminal organizations as a terrorist organization is nothing more than a ruse to justify aggression towards Venezuela to instigate either a revolution, an assassination, or Maduro fleeing, like Bashar al-Assad did. All right, okay, let's get into Venezuela real quick. Okay, guys, let's get into Venezuela, and then we'll go into our main story, which is Tucker Carlson. But let's go ahead and cover Venezuela because, guys, what's going on with Venezuela is nuts. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm actually very split in my view of this because on one end, I understand that these narco traffickers have been a problem for a very long time. But on the other side, I don't want a war, and we're dangerously close to flirting with one.
Oh my God.
Right? And I don't think a war on drugs justifies a potential real military conflict. Does that make sense? So let's go ahead and kind of get into this from the beginning.
Drugs looks like.
I see boats coming in like loaded up the other day with all sorts of drugs, and we're going to take them out.
The U.S. military destroyed these boats in international waters.
And I think they've killed somewhere between 30 to 40 different people in all of these strikes.
Waters off of Venezuela's shores. Trump is justifying the controversial attacks as targeting narco-terrorists. It's the biggest U.S. military deployment in the region of the 21st century.
Since the war on terrorism.
And it could also be targeting Venezuela's leader Nicolas Maduro's grip.
Well, let's be clear about this. Let's be absolutely crystal clear on this topic. This war on narco-terrorism, guys, is a regime change strategy. Maduro has always been a problem for the United States. And we're going to go into why in a little bit here. But I called this. If you guys remember, all the real niggas remember back in January. Remember when Trump was signing all those executive orders and he designated Tren de Araguas terrorist organization? He named a lot of these Mexican cartels as terrorist organizations, etc. Remember that, guys? What did I tell you guys back then? I told you guys they're doing this so that they can use military and intelligence resources to combat this problem. Historically speaking, when it came to the war on drugs, it was a law enforcement only situation, which means gather evidence, bring it in court of law, indict them, charge them, pretty much ends there. DEA, FBI, HSI, we're leading the run on that one. But once Trump came in and designated these cartels as terrorist organizations, well, now the gloves are off because now you can use the full weight of the Department of Defense, aka now called the Department of War, as well as the intelligence community, like the CIA, like the NSA, right? Now you can use all of these tools that were historically used that are still in place from the war on terror 20 years prior. Now you can use them against narco traffickers. And what does that mean? Targeted airstrikes, lethal kinetic explosions against these individuals, like Pete Hegseth has been showing on Twitter, that they're declassifying as it happens. We basically turned the Mohammeds into Miguels. And I told you guys this at the beginning of the year. Did I not predict this? I told you guys that they were going to leverage the might of the military and the intelligence community, the IC, to take on far more aggressive action against these drug trafficking organizations.
That's crazy.
Because once you label them the T word, yeah, it's pretty much a wrap.
Fatality.
Let's get back to it.
On power. So is this really a war on drugs from Venezuela? Or is the U.S. up to something bigger in the Caribbean?
So is it a drug war or a power grab?
The Roosevelt Roads naval base in Puerto Rico was shut down in 2004. For the last 2 decades, it was abandoned and slowly being reclaimed by nature. But now, the U.S. military is back, and with their most advanced fighters, Reaper drones, and Osprey tilt-rotor aircraft. Puerto Rico is a largely self-governed territory of the U.S. The U.S. military buildup is not only on the island, it's taking place across the Caribbean, with warships, aircraft, and even a nuclear-powered submarine.
Damn.
And their sights are set on Venezuela.
It's a significant deployment. We haven't seen anything like this in a
Yeah, we've been mobilizing quite a bit of military assets close to Venezuela to assert dominance.
generation.
Christopher Hernandez Roy is an expert on the Americas and on geopolitics at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, a U.S. think tank.
For a counter-narcotics.
Now, guys, I've never seen this video, but let me give you guys my take real quick before he gives his, just so you guys know where I kind of stand, and I could give some commentary on his. Basically, it's very simple, okay? There are 2 main powers, maybe 3, okay? You have the Western Hemisphere that is run by us, the United States, where we exercise the most dominance and influence. Then you have the China-Russia corridor in the East, okay, where they exercise their dominance. One of the reasons why America's been able to stay a superpower for so long is because we are isolated. We have a strategically beautiful position where you have to traverse a lot of water and ocean to get to us, okay? We're smack dab in the middle of both the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean, where you have to cross these large bodies of waters to actually attack us. This is why the United States is able to put military bases all over the world while keeping the homeland actually safe. This doesn't get talked about enough, how we have a huge geographical strategic advantage from a military standpoint, okay? It's very difficult for people to invade us and or attack us the way that we are situated. So we enjoy hegemony in this part of the world for a multitude of different reasons. Strong military, economic might, strategic positioning geographically, all these different things. Now, Venezuela's current dictator, Maduro, is pretty much liked and disliked by a lot of his constituents. And America views him as a dictator that does not run fair elections and a narco trafficker. He's been indicted several times in New York and the Southern District of Florida, him and many of his people in his cabinet, higher ups in his government, for drug trafficking, right? And as a matter of fact, there's a big bounty on his head. We covered this a couple of weeks ago, where he has something like a $50 million bounty on his head. Guys, to put things in perspective for you, this is more than Osama bin Laden had during the height of 9/11, okay? 50 million is a lot. I think Osama's peak was 30 million. So that should put into perspective for you guys how badly they want this guy out of power. Now you're probably asking, Myron, why? Is it oil? Is it their reserves? Is it their natural resources, etc.? Well, it's a combination of things. As you guys know, they have a huge supply of like crude oil, similar to what we have here in the United States. A lot of natural resources. But the other thing also that the United States doesn't like is that Maduro is aligned with and is supported by many of our enemies, to include China, Iran, and Russia. Okay? Ever since World War II with the Cold War era, the United States has been fighting a silent, right, and non-traditional warfare with Russia, okay, with the Cold War. Some people say it's over. Some people think it's still going on. I think it's still going on, maybe not at the same level where we had the communism paranoia of the post-World War II era. But I think it's safe to say that we shake hands with the Russians and the Chinese, but we have our fingers crossed behind our backs, right? We understand that they have nuclear weapons, we have nuclear weapons, so diplomacy is required. However, we don't trust each other. If I can boil it down into layman's terms for you guys, from a geopolitical perspective. We shake hands in public, but backstab each other when no one's looking. They catch our spies in Russia and China all the time. We catch their spies in the United States all the time. This is why the FBI has active counterintelligence groups that target Russian foreign intelligence and Chinese foreign intelligence. Okay? Now that we have that out the way, since Maduro is aligned with these other powers, this presents a problem for us. And the United States wants, given Venezuela's rich resources, they want a government there that is going to be pro-U.S. Think of Venezuela and Maduro right now as the equivalent of Fidel Castro, the former dictator of Cuba, who we've had a long-standing beef with, right? Now, there are other countries as well that we have problems with. Nicaragua come to mind and some others. Colombia now even, who used to be a great ally, but now we're kind of beefing with them a little bit because the current president of Colombia doesn't see eye to eye with our support of Israel. And Maduro also does not like Israel as well. Another fun fact for you guys. He's pro-Palestine. He does not recognize Israel as a sovereign state and is against Zionism, right? So he's against Zionism, as an ally of Iran, ally of China, ally of Russia. And they're in our part of the hemisphere. And they have resources. Well, my friends, this is the perfect storm for a coup. What is a coup? A coup, my friends, is where intelligence agencies, well, let's go back a little bit. For you guys to really understand this, I need to kind of explain this. After World War I and World War II, the concept of trench warfare and actually being on a battlefield and shooting and killing each other was something that the world didn't want to engage in again. Millions of people died during World War II. It was a very dark time in human history. So after World War II, what we saw was the explosion of intelligence agencies. And the goal of these intelligence agencies, to include the OSS, by the way, the OSS became the CIA. Real nigga, stand up.
Welcome, punch!
Okay, the Office of Strategic Services, aka the O/Squad. But anyway, shameless plug. But we saw the rise of intelligence agencies. And what these intelligence agencies basically did was, instead of getting into traditional ground type warfare with large casualties, let's go ahead and take a more scaffold and refined approach. Let's overthrow governments. Let's use dissenters in that country against the leadership. Let's do false flags. Let's destabilize them economically. And this, my friends, was the beginning of the intelligence era, post-World War II. We went from dropping bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to staging false flag attacks and assassinating leaders, utilizing in-country dissenters to do our dirty work for us. Intelligence agencies are notorious for paying rebel, militia, and terrorist groups to attack and or overthrow governments that we don't like. I'll give you an example. The most recent version of this is what happened with Syria. As you guys know, Ahmed al-Shara, aka El-Jolani, yeah, the guy that used to be a part of Al-Qaeda.
Oh, that should.
He was able to.
That was the most recent. Yeah, facts. I thought he was gonna just give an example.
Overthrow the Syrian government in 3 weeks. Okay, he was able to get the Assad regime out of Syria after several decades of rule. How did he do it? How did a bunch of ragtag militia fighters out of the corners of Syria overthrow a leader that was backed by the Russians? Well, a bunch of different things happened. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go through every single thing, but I'm going to make it very nice and simple for you guys so you understand. The war that Israel had conducted with Lebanon in 2024, where they did the Patriot attack and they destroyed the leadership and the bombing and killing and assassination of Hassan Nasrallah and Fuad Shukr and a bunch of other individuals, led to an opening gap where Hezbollah was weakened and could not protect the Bashar al-Assad regime. On top of this, Russia was waging a war against Ukraine and did not have the resources to support Bashar al-Assad with air superiority like they've done in the past. Bashar al-Assad has been able to stay in power for all these decades because Russians gave him magnificent air superiority over these militia groups, and they were never able to actually come in and destabilize him. But with Russia having their hands full, as well as Hezbollah being dismantled, this opened up the door for Ahmed al-Shara to take over Syria within a couple of weeks. This was done through Israeli intervention, intelligence groups, etc. The Mossad deliberately, basically, what they did was, because the Patriot attack was done by Mossad, they decapitated the Hezbollah leadership, and that allowed the opening for the rebel group, backed by the Israelis in America, by the way, to take over Syria. This is just one example of how intelligence agencies work to destabilize governments. I can name a bunch of others, but that's the most recent one that we can use, so that you guys have a modern example of how this shit works. But we can talk about the Maidan revolution in Ukraine, where the pro-Russia leader was basically overthrown and Zelensky was put in, who was a NATO puppet. Why? Because the United States wanted more influence in that part of the world. And this is precisely why Russia invaded Ukraine, to avoid that. Now let's bring it full circle with Venezuela. As you guys can see, when you are influenced by another foreign power close to the United States doesn't like that. Same thing with Russia. If you're influenced by NATO and Western powers and you're close to Russia, they don't like that. So for all intents and purposes, we're like Russia and Venezuela's like Ukraine, if I was to give you a functional equivalent to a degree. I would argue the Russians actually have far more justification to invade Ukraine than we do with the military posturing we're having now, but that's a discussion for another day. Because at least the Russians can articulate that Ukraine used to be a part of them. They're similar people, they have a similar language, etc. So I think the Russians have a stronger argument to invade Ukraine than we do. But our invasion isn't just a national security issue, it's also a resource issue and an influence issue. And this is why we are posturing the way that we are posturing. Because Venezuela doesn't have the ability to actually defend itself against our military might. So this is why we're able to destroy these ships with little to no consequence. This is why we're able to stage our military assets right in their waters or close to their waters. This is why we're able to project the potential of force with almost no consequence because we run this side of the world. And they're going to continue to do this until one of two things happens. Until Maduro relinquishes leadership and leaves Venezuela, or he's killed. And I think one of those two are inevitable at this point. The designation of these criminal organizations as a terrorist organization is nothing more than a ruse to justify aggression towards Venezuela to instigate either a revolution, an assassination, or Maduro fleeing, like Bashar al-Assad did. Now, let's go into a dream scenario. Maduro's already called for peace and doesn't want war with us for obvious reasons. But the United States is not going to stop. If I was Maduro at this point, I would be talking to the Iranians or the Russians, probably the Russians, about fleeing and just letting the United States have it. He's already wildly unliked by his constituents. Venezuela's a shithole of a country. You're going to die or get captured anyway. Because unlike Bashar al-Assad, you're also indicted for war crimes in the United States and narco trafficking. So honestly, I think invasion and or destabilizing of him is imminent. We know that the CIA is working over there. We know that the NSA is collecting signals intelligence, and we're blowing up their boats. Kind of to test run what it'll be like. And then there was also talk of us potentially doing land invasions. So if you're Maduro, I think you got to be smart here and turn into Goku. The Russians almost always take in political asylum seekers, from American problems, so to speak. They did it with Snowden. They did it with Bashar al-Assad. I'm sure they would do it for Maduro as well. But I will absolutely tell you guys that Maduro's time is ticking, and that is why they want him out.
That's crazy. That is fucking crazy. Okay. I think it is wanted for war crimes. They're probably capping. You know, U.S. like to lie about shit. Damn. Okay. Damn. Can't go against us. Israel will figure out a way how to get you up out of there. Oh God. They'll figure out a way to convince U.S. to get you up out of there.
He's going for it, man. And it's like it's so funny whenever you're watching it happen because he's just obviously baiting for it. He's like, well, do you hate black people? He's like, no. Do you hate some black people? He's like, well, maybe. He's like, okay, so you do hate some black people then, right? And just like, I love this, man. It's so fucking funny. This is amazing.
I have with me in studio.
Okay.
Destiny, right?
Yeah.
Destiny.
How did you get
wait,
the
this
name?
is real
that a
life.
lady name?
Yeah, kind of. I made it when I was like 9.
Wow.
You call yourself Destiny?
Well, in real life, I call myself Steven, but online, I go by Destiny. Yeah.
Oh, so your real name is Steven?
Yeah.
But online, you pretend.
What's up, guys? I got a reaction video to a reaction video today.
A reaction video to reaction video to reaction. Yo, shut the fuck up.
Could you use up to $800? Find it at BioBuy.
You're snitching on
up
me.
To $800 is waiting for.
Caught off guard, as everyone is, their first time seeing Jesse Lee Peterson in. Let's.
That's her name. To be a woman?
No, I just have a feminine
Wait,
name, I
what?
guess.
Yeah, that's a girl name.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it is.
Do they know you have a girl name online?
I don't think most people see it that way online.
Do they see Destiny as a male name?
I guess so, yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Destiny is a Twitch streamer, a gamer, a YouTube personality who also cover politics and philosophy. His website is destiny.gg. I appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you having me.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And so, are you conservative or liberal?
Probably very liberal.
Probably very liberal.
Compared to, yeah.
compared to what?
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
How old are you?
30 years old.
Really?
Wow.
And how long have you been a liberal?
Probably 5 to 6 years, maybe.
And you were a conservative prior to becoming a liberal?
Very much.
And what made you become a liberal?
I got a little older, a little smarter.
Oh,
Kinda grew out of it, yeah.
And you were tired of being a man?
I was tired of being an idiot,
What?
But
So you woke up one day, you know what, I'm tired of being a man. I want to be a liberal.
I think there are plenty of men that are liberals.
Not real men.
You really think so?
Men who are liberals are betas.
What do you mean? What is a man to you?
Okay, like, is this has gotta be like bullshit, right? This has to be bullshit. There's no way that somebody's doing this and acting like this legitimately. There's no way. No, there's no way. There's no way that somebody would do this. Like, I'm sorry.
It is real. Smarter. He's suggesting not number
You know, shut the fuck up. You're gonna piss me
That's
off.
a good
fact.
I want to ask you
Okay.
first, though. Let me ask, are you Cuban?
Half, yeah.
Half Cuban and half what?
European stuff. I don't know.
So
European
okay.
stuff,
Your
okay.
mother was Cuban, your father?
Mom was Cuban.
And your dad is, you don't know what he was.
Some European, yeah.
Did you know your father?
Yeah, I just don't know the background much. I don't really care that much.
You don't care that much?
Nah.
About your father?
About my heritage or my
Oh, come on,
I
man.
understand that. And so I read that you were
Okay.
banned
Fuck is
from
going on?
Twitter.
Yep.
Why?
I don't know. I got reported by a lot of people.
And what did they say about you?
Who? Twitter or the people that reported
That
me?
reported you to make them ban you.
I have no idea. I got reported for all sorts of stuff.
What were you saying?
I just whatever things liberals say. I'm not sure.
Oh. And so, are you okay with being a liberal? Do you feel like a man as a liberal? Because most men, real men, are conservative.
What do you mean when you say real man?
Real men.
my
What is a
God.
man in your opinion?
Well, I'm curious what a man is to you.
I'll tell you that in a minute, but tell me, since you're my guest,
Okay.
what is a man?
What is a man?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, people that have values of I
This
guess,
is-
honor or integrity or chivalry. People that
This
stand
is
up for what
real.
they believe in.
I-
don't know, there's a lot of general.
But you're
I
not
don't
sure
even
what
know
a
what to
man
say.
is?
In what are you asking? Like in a scientific sense or in
Period, just period. What is a man?
Wow.
I think I already gave an answer. What do you think a man
That's
is?
your opinion. So you don't really know what a man is. Did you grow up close to your mother?
I grew up equally close to both parents.
What
Who
is
were you
this
the closest
about?
to, your mother or your father?
I'd say it was about 50-50 on both.
So you were 50% daddy and 50% mama?
Exactly, right down the middle.
Yo, this nigga Asmongold is stupid, bro.
This is real. It's worth it.
I think, you got more Jesse Lee Peterson.
Get it. Watches this.
So are you half?
Like, I don't get it.
So are you half man, half woman?
I don't think that's how male or female works.
How does it work?
Not like that.
There's no way.
I mean, it depends on what sense
There's
you're
no,
asking.
there's no way. There's no way.
A man
This
is
has got to be bullshit.
a man is a male who turned to man. He grew out of malehood and became a man, and he is a man that loves God with all his heart, soul, and might, along with nothing else. He treat all people the same because he has no anger. He loves what's right. He lead people in the right way to go.
Okay, that's nice. That's good.
President Trump,
said,
and I'm
okay,
sure
that's
you
nice.
would agree, is a perfect example of what a man is. A
I'm
man
sure
even
you
loves
would
his
agree.
enemy because he has no anger for anyone.
Oh, no.
Would you agree that President Trump is a real man?
I'm not sure what you mean by man. I heard you describe a bunch of things that have nothing to do with men.
It's his nature. He has an obligation of being right.
Obligation?
His
I mean,
duty.
I think men and women can be correct or incorrect about things. I don't think any of those
His
things are.
duty is to be right. I mean, literally, live right, be right, and lead the way. That's his duty. Would you agree to that?
I mean, if that's his duty, he's doing a pretty poor job of it right now.
I have with me that the Great White Hope is a real man.
What is the Great White Hope?
President Trump.
If he is.
Okay, hold
My
up, yo.
favorite.
Hold up, yo. Because I don't want to hear this nigga talking in the background.
And he is a man that loves God with all his heart, soul, and might, along with nothing else. A man is a male who turned to man. He grew out of malehood.
50 on both.
So you're 50%.
That depends on what sense you're asking.
A man is a male who turned to man. He grew out of malehood and became a man. And he is a man that loves God with all his heart, soul, and might, along with nothing else. He treat all people the same because he has no anger. He loves what's right. He lead people in the right way to go. President Trump, and I'm sure you would agree, is a perfect example of what a man is. A man even loves his enemies because he has no anger for anyone. Would you agree that President Trump is a real man?
I'm not sure what you mean by man. I heard you describe a bunch of things that have nothing to do with men.
It's his nature. He has an obligation of being right. His
I think men and women can be correct or incorrect about things. I don't think any of those things
His duty is to be right. I mean, literally, live right, be right, and lead the way. That's his duty. Would you agree with that?
I mean, if that's his duty, he's doing a pretty poor job of it right now.
Do you agree that the Great White Hope is a real man?
What is the Great White Hope?
President Trump.
If he is, he's doing a pretty bad job.
In what way?
I mean, we're in the longest government shutdown in recorded history as we speak right now.
Whose fault is that?
It's his fault. He's the leader.
No, it's the Democrats' fault. They don't want to give you the money to give him the money. Come closer to the mic for me. They don't want to give turn it up a little bit or something, Joe.
I can speak a little closer. Yeah, that's okay.
I would agree with you. Democrats don't want to give the president the money to put the wall up.
I mean, I could either agree with you or I could agree with Trump. When government shutdowns happened under Obama, Trump said that it was the fault of the sitting president if a shutdown happened. So do you think Trump was wrong when he said that?
I don't remember him saying that, but
we can bring up his tweets, I'm sure. If
I
we need
do agree that the Democrats forced the president to shut down the borders because they refused to put the country first. Isn't it true that they should protect the country before they protect illegal aliens?
Do you think the CEO of a company would blame his board of directors for not being able to get something done?
Is it true that they should protect the country before protecting illegal aliens first?
Don't you think if you're the leader of a country, you should
You're not answering that question.
Well, I'm just curious. I thought Trump was supposed to be a businessman.
Should they put the country first or illegal aliens first?
You should probably put the country first.
You said probably. You're not sure?
Well, I don't know what you mean by country or illegal aliens or what you mean by put it first. It's a loaded
Should
question.
America be become first before illegal aliens who are trying to break into our country?
What about the illegal aliens that are here right now? Aren't they part of America?
Should they put America before they put illegal aliens?
Bro, I can't stand this.
Put it where?
First.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You do agree to that?
Maybe.
Are you for illegal aliens breaking the law just coming into our country?
Not generally, no.
You're not for that?
No, I don't think so.
When you say not generally, are you saying you're somewhat for it?
I mean, it depends on the type of illegal immigrant, I guess.
Oh, there are certain types that you would let in?
Yeah, I guess, maybe. Sure.
Like what type?
This nigga Dusty, bro. Now, we're going to finish this. We'll finish this the next time I get back on because this is a 40-minute video. I guess they only watched like 16 minutes of it. But yeah, we'll finish that when we get back on. I thought it was some cooking shit. I think he was just reacting to Asmongold react to it. But yeah, nothing too crazy today. We had to finish that Nick and Gavin. Nick cooking Gavin. Then we had to see what the hell is going on with Venezuela. Yeah, nothing too crazy today, boys. If you ever want to come on, just let me know. I got Discord, Zoom. The fuck it don't matter. If you ever want me to react to something, let me know. Just send it to me on Twitter or whatever, and I will see what I can do. But yeah, nothing too crazy today. Nice, easy stream. I'm trying to think. Wednesday we will be live, so make sure you turn them damn noties on. I will see y'all boys later.
The bitch shaking it, showing it. You this, you that. We laughing at them together. Oh! So stop treating these like they mean something.
Let's go to TikTok.